My name is James, and I'm an avid online gamer. I mostly play with my local friends, but there was this one online friend I'd never met in real life. His name was Kyle, and we'd been gaming together for a few years. One day, he mentioned he'd be coming to my town for work and wanted to hang out. I was excited to finally meet him in person, so I said yes without hesitation. He said he'd be in town the following week. We agreed to meet up at his hotel, then head into town for drinks and dinner, just a friendly get-together to finally catch up in person. The week flew by, and soon I was on my way to meet Kyle. We grabbed dinner together, and afterward, ended up at a bar. We spent the night exchanging stories about past relationship nightmares, sharing laughs and heartbreaks. Around 11 p.m., we decided to take a walk through the city streets. We strolled for a while, swapping stories, until we suddenly realized we were standing in front of a graveyard. Kyle asked me what time it was. I glanced at my watch. "It's 1:30 a.m., I said, surprised at how quickly the time had flown by. "Wouldn't it be cool if we wandered through the graveyard?" Kyle said, grinning from ear to ear. In my buzzed state, I agreed. Off we went, stumbling into the dark, grungy graveyard. The first 15 minutes were actually fun. We were laughing and trying to scare each other. But then, we both heard it, a low, guttural groaning coming from a few headstones away. "Did you hear that?" Kyle asked, his voice low and defensive, trembling. "Yes," I replied. "Sounds like someone's hurt. Should we go check?" I asked. "I don't know," Kyle replied, his voice shaking as he looked around frantically. That didn't sound human. Just as he said that, something rose from the darkness where the sounds had come from. It was too tall to be human. Kyle and I were frozen in fear, unable to move or make a sound. We just stared, mesmerized by what we were witnessing. I slowly turned to Kyle and asked if we should run. He looked at me, shaking his head, silent with fear. He whispered, "Don't run." As he spoke, the creature turned toward us, its gaze piercing into our souls. It slowly glided closer. This thing was now only a few feet away. But before we could react, Kyle was lifted off the ground, suspended about 6 feet in the air. Kyle shouted at me to run, but I couldn't leave him behind. I grabbed his feet and yanked him down, and together, we ran for our lives. Whatever was in that cemetery chased us relentlessly, making the most grotesque sounds as it revealed its true form, one that was indescribable. We finally made it back to my apartment by 3 a.m., feeling safe, at least, we thought we were. After calming down and sobering up, we tried to get some sleep, 2 grown men, each curled up on a couch, both too terrified to relax. Then, around 4:30 a.m., there were 3 loud knocks at my front door. Both of us were frozen with fear, neither of us willing to check who was at the door. Kyle whispered, "It's probably nothing, just let it be." But as soon as he finished, a picture above his head was hurled across the room. Kyle screamed in terror, and I followed suit. Frozen in fear, we watched as the same figure from the cemetery appeared before us. It asked us, in an unholy tone, if we wanted to see what true darkness was. I whispered no, but it shouted, "Too late." In an instant, everything in the apartment was sent flying. Kyle dropped to his knees and began to pray. Then this evil being let out the ugliest growl I've ever heard. It sounded like it was in pain. It began to laugh, then turned to Kyle and said, "See you in a few years." Slowly, it faded into the darkness, and the night seemed to melt away into day. We suddenly felt at ease. Kyle left the next day, and we never spoke of that night again. Until now. It's been 2 years, and Kyle mysteriously died yesterday. I miss my friend more than words can express, and I'm flying out for his service tomorrow. But as I sit here, I can't shake the chilling feeling that I'm the next one it's coming for. So to the thing that haunts that graveyard, please, leave me alone.